us to now move on to the next session. This next session will be hosted by Aisha Faridi. She's the executive editor at TT Now. She'll be in conversation with Anant Maheshwari. He's the president and CEO of Global Regions Honeywell, Amita.
Absolutely, and this conversation is about to take place as soon as we set the stage, because this time we're going to talk about industrial transformation that seems to be the central for job creation, for export ambition and supply chain credibility. So let's get this conversation started. Please welcome Mr. Anant Maheshwari, President and Chief Executive Officer, Global Regions at Honeywell. And this conversation will be carried out by Aisha Faridi. Aisha, over to you.
Hi, thank you very much. And I know everyone's eagerly waiting for the grand finale of today, which is the Prime Minister's session. Well, we're here at the Global Business Summit, and Anand, thank you so much for your time. And who better than you, with all the many hats that you've donned in your career, to talk about how to build a truly global company. And that's exactly what I want to start with, because you've seen Honeywell's growth across Asia, Middle East, Africa, Europe, Latin America, all of it. Tell me, what are the biggest common opportunities as you maneuvered through all these regions?
Thank you so much for having me here, and it's quite a bit to follow the session that we just had on humility and before that meritocracy. So maybe I'll speak about opportunity in terms of what exists on the planet today. The world is changing. It's no longer an interconnected global world the way it was, especially on supply chains and trade. And it's moving towards a lot more of individual country-specific strategies. And in the world that we are coming from, there were two countries where there was still a very big focus on individual country strategies from the eyes of the multinational companies. And these two countries were China and India. If you go back last 20 years, these are the two countries that almost every multinational had a very specific strategy on. Other than that, it was very much around large regions like Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America, or the Middle East, as you just called out. In the world that we are going to, I think the India model is very relevant to operate in many other countries today. Germany needs to operate very independently. So does the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So does the UAE. So does Japan and Korea. And therefore, how we can learn from the model that has been operating in India for the multinational companies, it is a playbook that a lot of MNCs are using globally.
But tell me, with responsibility for expansion in regions including India, China, Southeast Asia, and beyond, how is it that you balance global strategy and at the same time domestic inclusion?
So we've had a very strong focus. I think in every part of the world, you've got to lead very, very local. So we've had a very strong resonance around the discussion that we had on meritocracy just 2 discussions back. Very strong focus on local leadership with the right empathy and cultural nuance that is required in every country. And that has, I think, stood in very good sort of progress for us because that has allowed us to adapt to this new world that is coming in. So local leadership and also then thinking through local supply chains, which partly was driven by the pandemic, because in the pandemic, the global supply chains changed. And I think a lot more local supply chains were created. So those two combinations, I think, are critical. The third one that is emerging today is local innovation, which again was largely focused in China and India in the past, is now going to almost every country.
Innovation obviously gets me to AI. Are factory floors also innovating, or is it just an IT services thing as of now?
You're asking me a question that I think I can refer to my past life and current life.
Yes.
Because if I just go back to my past life in the IT world as I was operating at Microsoft and in NASSCOM, I would say there was a very strong momentum of AI that was building. And it is the buzz today. Last two conversations, AI has to come into the conversation. So there is, of course, a lot of opportunity in the IT world, information technology world on AI. What's not talked about so much is in the operations technology world. And I know you asked me a question about industrial and factories. If I look at this room, let me bring an example which is closer home right now. This is also an operations world. Right above us are sensors that are sensing the temperature in this room and are controlling the entire environment in this room. right above us are fire detectors that are detecting everything that is happening in this room, giving a signal back to a control panel, and that control panel is taking action to control temperature or to keep that fire alarm not to buzz because everything is fine. In a way, the human analogy of that is seeing, the control panel is thinking, then acting. And that's the loop that has been in play for nearly 40 years, 4 decades in the operations world. See, think, act. What's new with AI is you can add one more element to that loop, learn. So see, think, act, and then learn. Because in the past, what these systems were operating with is rules that were set by engineers to say, if this happens, then do this. And those rules operated control systems. Going forward, I think the systems will learn and create new rules as we work. So in a way, when suddenly a lot more people come into this room, it will learn to say, listen, you now need to manage the temperature differently. And that's what the see, think, act, learn capability is. AI is bringing that to the factory floor. AI is bringing that to buildings of all kinds. AI is bringing it to complex infrastructure across the world. And that is the concept of physical AI. I think physical AI is very real. It is happening today.
But Anant, from your perch, yes, physical AI is there to make you learn and analyze and, draw out from the learning, etc. But is the fear of job losses real on the factory floors?
In fact, I'll give you another example. In most parts of the world, there is a shortage of talent. And in India, there is a lot more investment coming into manufacturing, into new capabilities. Now, you don't have in the western part of the world where there is a shortage of talent, you need to bring a lot more aid to help talent gain faster. So in a semiconductor plant or in a refinery, you don't put somebody who's just 1 or 2 years of experience straight on to some of the most critical assets. You wait for 10, 20 years to get there. Same thing happens in the aerospace industry. So if you look at industries that wait that long to mature talent, today AI can help very quickly hasten the talent to start operating assets. I'll give you a very simple example there. Let's say you're on a factory floor. There is somebody who's been just 1 year's experience, is standing next to a machine, and that machine starts vibrating. The normal reaction would be to, listen, don't do anything, call somebody to find what happened here, and then fix it. Or switch it off. Those are the two actions you would take. With the benefit of AI now, that person can have a tool right next to this person and guide, I can listen to this vibration. I know where this vibration is happening from. A mobile phone can do it and the pad can do it. And just say, it's really a faulty bearing that's causing this vibration. Don't worry, it'll continue. Next shutdown that we will have, we'll replace the bearing. So it actually brings human beings to be able to do a lot more. And that's where enablement is really the name of the game.
Productivity.
Productivity.
Yeah. Lastly, I want to talk about, the fact that India was once Honeywell's high growth region, right? Your anchor market. How do you assess India's role today in Honeywell's global strategy?
So it still is a high growth market. It's amongst the highest growth markets on the planet today. I think the Indian economy is really a benchmark for the entire planet. And we are very well positioned to continue to innovate in India, to manufacture in India, which we've built over a period of time. So manufacturing has been a big base. We are continuing to serve a lot of innovation from India for the world. And I think that is where India is transitioning to, not just as a market, but becoming a source of innovation for around the world.
Okay, and that's AI telling us our time is up.
I can say there is a buzzer, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anant, for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Anant and Aisha, for that fascinating conversation. In fact, jobs are not going to be lost. In fact, manufacturing-related jobs in India, the creation of those jobs is going to make up for the kind of disruption that we're going to see in AI. In fact, that's the word that's coming in from Anant Maheshwari. He's the president and CEO of Global Regions at Honeywell. And now, Amita.